My name is Michael St. Amy, and this is the Concentric Home Solution Woodworking channel. As you can tell, it's an update video because I'm in front of the CNC machine. In this video, I will be talking about my $25,000 router planer sled. It's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. It's basically a shop update. I'm getting ready to start a new project. It's the fireplace for my wife I've been telling y'all about. I'm just getting around to finally starting it. And I decided to attempt, I shouldn't say attempt, I was successful. I decided to surface the boards on my CNC router. Basically, turning it into a glorified, overpriced router planer sled. The board I did was about 48 inches, and I was able to plane it flat on both sides. No snipe. That's one cool. For $25,000, no snipe. You get no snipe. To achieve this, because the board wasn't even, I had to use a flat surface for it to register off of that I could fasten to the machine. So what I did was I used a particle board shelf from the Home Depot or any home center that is a consistent material and is dead flat. And it has some type of coating on it, like a thin laminate type coating on it. So that allows me to get good suction on the CNC machine, which, by the way, now having experience with the CNC router, I don't think I could, which I do plan to get another CNC machine eventually when I have a bigger space. I would like to get a larger one, a 4x8 minimum. But I can never see myself without a vacuum hold down table. I think is one of the best things about the machine. And secondly is, although I know I could save a lot of money by going with one of the aluminum frame type machine, at this point, I could not see myself purchasing one that wasn't, heavy duty industrial all iron built frame. I couldn't see I can't go backwards from that. It would have to have the vacuum hold down, and it would have to be built stout like this, whatever I decide to go with. Despite my experience, after all, for the most part, we worked it out. And I'm hoping anyway, I'm doubtful that I would have that experience again. It probably would be another Stinger. It'd probably be a Stinger 3, the larger one. Or the more expensive one. After experiencing this, I don't think I would be happy with one of the kit-built aluminum frame ones. I've seen some of those machines working online, and when they're making heavy cuts, I see the machine racking and shaking. I don't know how it could be accurate under those conditions. So props to CamMaster and the other manufacturers that build stout machines like this. That aside, I'm gonna show some B-roll of me planing the board. And once again, what I did is I put the board on top of this particle board substrate, and I use some of my old business cards as shims and a glue gun to hold the board in place. So I level it out and I fill the gaps in with the business cards, and then I use the hot glue gun to hold it in place to face the top side. And once I had it completely faced, I took that whole contraction off. I separated the board from the particle board shelf, and then I was able to turn it around and having a perfectly flat side, vacuum hold it down to the table to surface the other side. Yes, it takes longer than using my planer. That's no doubt. But one of the great advantages, if I ever had to flatten or surface something, I have a capacity up to 48 by 36 on this machine. My jointer planer can't do that. And secondly, if I'm messing with a board where I'm trying to, how would I put it? I'm trying to maximize the yield, I think this is the best way of doing it. Because no matter how hard you try, unless if you use a sled or something like that, it's a little bit more inefficient doing it by hand, jointing it first. You use up a lot of the material to get to that flat surface that you want. In other news, I bought some sanding belts for my Supermax, and it's 150 grit. The machine for the drum sander came with 80 grit, and I showed y'all recently the results of that. I showed you that it left lines in it, but you can remove those lines with the random orbit sander. Now, it did take a little bit of work to take out the 80 grit, but I find if you use the 150 grit and then you use 180 and the random orbit sander, in no time, all lines are gone. This, remember this one before? I want you to see how that looked. This was sanded 150 on a drum sander, and then 180 on a random orbit sander, and the 180 remove it quickly because remember, the sanding lines on the 150 is significantly shallower and smaller than the lines of the 80 grit. Giving you an idea, this is the 80 grit on this side, and this is the 150. The 150 is a whole lot, obviously, smoother. So going up to 180 on the random orbit sander made easy and quick work of that. So with all of that said, I'm really loving this drum sander. Prior to me getting it, I watched a couple reviews, and one of them really didn't make any sense to me. That's one thing I would like to impart on my viewers. Don't necessarily believe everything that you hear. And sometimes you gotta pick sense out of nonsense, okay? I watched a review where the reviewer said, if you can't afford a wide belt sander, you're better off just using a random sander and not wasting your money on a drum sander, because you still have to end up using a random orbit sander to remove the sanding line. Foolishness. Foolishness. This drum sander has great value. Or a drum sander. I'm not, caping as the young people say. What I'm trying to tell you is, this thing saves so much time on sanding. I have to do such little sanding with the 180 with a random orbit sander. This thing is worth it. It's just in time saving alone. Plus the fact that you can do thicknessing on it. This thing would accept grits all the way down to 36. You can literally use it to dimension and flatten boards. How can someone say that's not worth it? This thing more than cut my sanding time in half. If all I gotta do is do a final pass with 180, which I would have had to go through the various grits anyway with the random orbit sander, spending all that time going through, working up the grits with that. And with the drive system, the pressure feed roller and everything, and it being automated the way it's automated, I put it through there and the machine does the sanding for me. How could that not be worth it? So for me, it was completely worth it. And so far, I could recommend this machine. Plus the added benefit of this particular model that I got, where I can change out the head to the mop, the sanding mop, to do profiles, it was a no-brainer. Complete no-brainer. So I know I promised you guys about, going over some domino accessories. I haven't gotten to that yet, but you can expect that. That's coming up. Thanks for watching the video and have a good day and be safe in the shop. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to be notified when new content is dropped on this channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and drop a comment down below.